No,
There you
that's
go. And
live.
then it's gonna now you're
Awesome. Woo-hoo-hoo. No,
there you go.
that's
And
live.
then it's gonna
We got a feedback loop.
there
We'll get there. Okay, so this is our first live tutorial Tuesday with the new camera setup, and currently we're going live from TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you're watching this and you're enjoying it, all I ask is that you do whatever you need to do on that platform to let that platform know that you like it. So on TikTok is where I'm most familiar. Tap the screen as violently as possible to give me as many likes as you can get. And that'll help spread my information across all platforms. So this is cool. I can see comments while I'm doing this. Instagram is separate from the stream, and Instagram is going to be my overhead camera. So if you want to see close-up shots of my hands while I'm doing things, I'm going to need you to also load up Instagram and keep your eyes on that, because you're going to get a different viewpoint. Eventually, we'll have multiple camera setups here that'll sort of just follow me around, but for now, this is what we got, because Instagram was a little bit more difficult to add to the stream than everything else. So my name is Kim. I teach upholstery and furniture restoration from my design studio here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And this wingback chair is part of a 10-week project that we started on TikTok. That is, we're into week like 20 something of it now because of how long it's just been taking to film it. So hoping to wrap up this chair today. The plan is to stuff the cushion, which we have ready. We've already cut the cushion. We've already made the cushion cover. We're going to stuff that, and we're going to add the arm caps to the outside, potentially the welt to the bottom, and then this chair is done. If you want to see previous recordings of this, you can catch them on TikTok, but I will be, after this stream, starting to load the steps to this one video at a time over on YouTube, so you guys can catch the whole series over there. So if you have any questions along the way, please put them in the chat. I'm going to answer them intermittently throughout the program, and then you guys can just, if there's something you want to know or something you want to see closer, let me know and I will try to accommodate. Congrats on your new tech achievements. Remember the days of trying to hear you over the air compressor. We made it. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so to get started today, we're going to go over all of the tools and everything that we need to use to be able to do this. And I want to keep my camera tracking, so we're going to turn that back on. And then I'm going to take you guys over to this bench here and show you what it is that we're working with. I try to go over all the tools you're going to need for each step so that you are aware of what you're going to have prepared. We did go over all the tools you'll need for the whole project in the very first part of this series, so you can go all the way back and watch that. So today, to get started with stuffing the cushion, we need poly batting. This is going to be the outer part. We're putting cotton batting on the top and bottom. That's going to give us a nice little juicy cushion. We pre-fit the cushion to the foam before we put anything on it. I'm going to show you what that looks like. When we get over to this chair part, we're going to need our stapler. We're going to need a Sharpie, a ruler of some sort, a pair of scissors. I always have a regulator with me because these are a really versatile tool that you can use for a lot of different things. The fabric for the arms, the welt. We have a curved mattress needle, some thread, some pins, and our welt. So this is all we're going to need today to get going on that. And I'm going to walk you guys through one step at a time. So I'm going to, oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead. No, don't worry at all. So I'm going to go over to the cutting table and we're going to get going on this. And then Thomas, yes, if you could reposition the camera for me. No. Just tilt it. That can stay stationary. Yeah, it's just pointed up. Zoom out all the way for me.
that's all the way down.
Okay. So then we need to move. And if it's, is it on green? Yeah, I want it to be not on the motion tracking. It's so hard because it doesn't do it in real time. Down. Oh, wait.
We're professionals here.
That's good. That looks good. Right there. Nope. And it's frozen?
No, it should be.
So it doesn't move? Okay. Yay. Excellent. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of go over the cushion bit for you. I don't include my batting when I take my measurements for the cushion to make a cover for it. And that's because I fully expect that batting to fill out the cushion. So I want to show you why I do that. One, because when you're stuffing the cushion, the batting itself is very vulnerable, it's very fragile, and it can fall apart. So I like to fit my cushion before I add batting to it to make sure everything fits, because if it doesn't fit, I got to take it out again, and then I got to take it back to the sewing machine and fix it, and then come back, dry fit it again. And if I do that with all the batting on, the batting, everything starts to tear up and fall apart. So I'm going to just stuff this cushion to show you guys what the cushion looks like without batting. I did get silk film so that we could silk film is sort of like a cellophane that you wrap around the cushion and you hook a shop vac up to it, and it takes all the air out of it and squishes the foam real small so you can stuff it in here. I bought that for the first time, but I forgot and I did not prepare for that today. So next time we stuff a cushion, we'll do that. So right now I'm just sort of finagling this. You can see I got like the first T side of the cushion in first, and now I'm just sort of getting the other side in. And you want to be gentle with the cushion too, especially the T-shaped ones like this, because you can rip off that T if you're not careful. So I'm just working this into the bits. And the goal is to just make sure the cushion fits. I've already done this, so I do know that it fits already. And then I wanted to show you what it looks like before you put batting, so you can understand the purpose of the batting when it goes on your cushion. It's always a struggle when you don't have a cellophane. Okay. So I've got that going. I'm going to zip it up. And these measurements for this cushion, if you remember correctly, were taken directly from the cushion itself. We traced the cushion with a seam allowance. So the box top and the box bottom are exactly the same shape as the cushion, plus a ½ inch all the way around, so that it would be tailored to fit the cushion perfectly. Now, I never thought a cushion looked good like in this stage, because everything looks so basic and flat. So if you're close, and if you're on Instagram, you're about to get a close-up, you can kind of see, and maybe you can see from there too, you can see how flat everything looks, which it looks still like it's a nicely sewn cushion, but it looks very flat and it looks very hard. It doesn't look like warm and inviting and squishy and cushy. But it's necessary to do this step first before you get the batting on, so that everything doesn't fall apart when you go to put it back together. So now that we see it fits, everything is like nice and tight on it, we're going to take this apart and we're going to add the batting to it. And if you're wondering how to get these out, that is also a wrestle. So now that I have it kind of pulled down to this point, I'm going to shove the T down and pull one of those sides out first. And then like the opposite direction, I put it back in. Oh, okay, we can set that to the side. And now we can work on piecing our cushion back together. So for that, we're gonna need polyester batting. This is, all of this stuff is available on my website too. So if these are products that you need and want to work with, you can purchase them from my website, but they do come in bulk quantities. So a roll of cotton batting is going to come, this is about 1/3 the size that it comes in. It's like this big when you get it. A roll of batting, this is nearing the end over here, is bigger than me. It's 54 inches tall and it's bigger than my arms can wrap around. So you're going to need to make sure you have the space for it if you do that. But if you're doing a lot of upholstery, buying it in bulk is way cheaper than buying little bits at a time. So what I need is for this batting to wrap around this cushion completely. We're going to measure that first, and then we're going to put the cotton batting on it before we sew everything together. So I don't really need to like measure with a ruler per se, but I do need for this to be able to wrap completely around and then up the sides like this so that I can stitch everything together. So for me, I'm kind of just like holding that up. You should use a ruler though to avoid any sort of wasting of material. I'm going to use my T-square to mark this. Thank you, my love. Where I need to cut it, and then I'm just going to mark that all the way across. I'm going to scooch this table because it's easier than moving the camera. All right. Get a little bit more in the camera here. Mark that down. If you have questions about what I'm doing, feel free to put that in the comments section, and then intermittently between tasks I'll go and I'll answer them. The downside about this cool table that we just bought is that I am too short to reach across it, but it is perfectly wide enough for a whole roll of fabric. I need to do something about that hose. So I'm just going to cut this loose. I assumed that the width of the batting, by the way, was wide enough to cover both sides of my, actually all four sides of my cushion, but I've been doing it a minute, so I can eyeball it pretty confidently. But we'll double check. Oh, it's absolutely perfect. So what I want to do though is I want the seam for this to be in the back. So when I wrap this, I just turn it around so that the flat front edge of this is where this folds over. And that's going to create a seamless experience here in the front. And now all of my bits are like long enough to make it up the sides. Before I sew it shut, I have to put the cotton batting in it, but I got to cut some of the sides down to the shape of the T. I want to make sure that both sides of the batting cover the length of the sides. That's going to give me a little bit extra juice on the outsides of it so that it'll fit nice and snug inside the case. And again, because we made the outside case just big enough to like fit the foam, this is all going to like fill out the cushion itself. So it's going to make the cushion look juicier. The purpose of putting batting, poly batting, in between fabric or in between the fabric and the foam is to sort of add a little layer of air between those, a little bit of cushion. It's, you know, not significant enough that you're going to feel it when you sit on it, but it looks fluffier when you look at it. So I'm just cutting these to shape, and then I'm going to add the cotton batting. I might have to cut some off the T ends too. Down, yeah, they're just a little bit long. And this batting, my scraps here, so we save scraps all the time. Pieces like this are perfect for the arm cap that we're going to make here in a little bit. So don't throw these away. Hold on to those. When you've been in business as long as I have, you learn your lesson about throwing away materials when you end up having to pay for those. And that didn't really hit me hard until I started teaching classes and realizing we were burning through so much material all the time. So now we find ways to save it. And whatever we don't use gets saved in our scrap room, and we give that to House and to Home, who trains here on Wednesdays to provide furniture for families leaving, like exiting homelessness. So we get good use out of our scraps. This all looks like it's going to fit. Now we can add the cotton batting. So cotton batting, this is actually a poly hybrid cotton batting. It's not 100% cotton. It's not going to break down as fast as cotton because it has some poly batting like mixed in with it. But it comes in a roll like this. it's got this little piece of tissue wrapped around it that's all between the layers, and that's to prevent the cotton from felting itself. And then it rolls out like this. Now, I can say that it's way harder to cut this stuff with scissors than it is to tear it. And when you tear it, it helps give it like a much softer look around the edges. So that's what we do. I'm going to take this whole roll. And what we want is a layer of this cotton batting on the top and a layer of the cotton batting on the sides. I don't need it on the sides because my poly is doubling up on the sides. I don't need to like overjuice the sides on that. I just need it on the top and the bottom. So, get this out. So you can probably come right up here. Let me see. Perfect. Okay. So now I'm just going to put my hands like at the edge of all the edges of the foam, and even in the back here, because this is a really thick point, it's a very harsh line, and I don't want to see the transition between like harsh lines of the foam tucked up under, of this batting tucked up underneath the poly batting. So I'm going to tear it away at all edges because it thins it out at the edge and helps it to transition smoothly so you don't see that batting like packed in underneath there. But I'm going to do this all the way around. Just tearing away, and then you'll see it just kind of like smooths down and disappears. I save this too because we layer it up underneath seat decks. We can stuff pillows with it. It's very expensive material and we don't like to waste it around here. So just flop this around. Ooh. I used to just glue poly batting to the outside of it, but the glue is stinky and expensive, and I don't like to use it. And I went to Virginia and worked with Jonathan Bennett of Unsprung Upholstery, and he taught me so much because, again, I'm self-taught. I didn't learn from professionals, so it was actually my first experience to work alongside a professional, and it was a magical one. So we got the top done. I want to be careful. I'm not putting this on my batting yet because the cotton batting will stick to it and it'll be difficult to kind of move it up. This is not the most organized process, but that's okay. So we're going to flip this over and we're going to put cotton batting on the other side the same exact way. Try not to waste too much. That's why I still have it attached to the roll, so that I can tear off exactly how much I'm not going to use and not waste it from the get-go. If you are learning something today or you just enjoy hanging out here with me, go ahead and leave some comments, like the feed, share it with your friends. Anything you can do to engage with this content helps to push my content across all platforms. And now we're actually on all platforms. What is this? There's a furniture tag felted inside there. That's fun. Now that we're streaming across all platforms, I fully anticipate my engagement across all those platforms to pick up so that people can figure out what it is that I do here for a living, which is teach upholstery and furniture restoration, of which there are no trade schools anymore. There's nowhere to go to learn it. My studio is the only place you can go for ongoing upholstery education. You come here 7 days a week. You don't even have to physically be here in person. You can come here over Zoom from your home. I have subscription classes available for that. Plus, you can attend any one of my Bring Your Own Project classes from home over Zoom as well. They're hybrid. Okay, so now I've got both sides done. I can replace it back on the batting where it goes. At this stage, the cotton, everything can get all mucked up, so you want to make sure that you're fixing it up now before you get going, because you won't have the opportunity once it gets closed. And then I'm just gonna bring the foam up around this way. Watch my cotton batting so it doesn't buckle up in the front where I stretch it. And just a little off. Bring it down a little bit more. Like this. And so these sides, you can't see it from here, but you can see it from Instagram, come up, and then the seam, well, I'm going to hand stitch these all together using a blanket stitch, and the seam is going to be up along the edge, the top edge of this. It'll be the bottom edge when we do it, but when I'm sewing, I like to keep it at the top because I can reach it better. So we're going to take this and we are going to hand stitch a blanket stitch all the way around the cushion to sort of encapsulate that cotton batting so it doesn't fall apart. It also like makes it a lot easier. Like before I used to glue the batting to it, and from the sides to the top, the batting could still lift while shoving it in. This way it encapsulates it all together so the batting doesn't get messed up when you shove it in. So I'm actually gonna go around to the front of the table to do the sewing so these guys can see it from that end. I'm going to use thread. Thank you, though. And we can point this down a little bit. I got it, Thomas. Thank you, though. And then zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, I think that's good. So that way you guys get a little bit of a closer view. And then Instagram can come real close. I'm going to start like sewing this edge together in the very back because it encapsulates the whole thing before I have to do the sides. You're not going to be able to get like one long piece of string that's going to be long enough to get all the way around because you're going to get it tied in knots as you go and it's going to be a pain in the ass. So we're going to, let me see. In the frame on this side and I don't want that. Okay. Let's see. Then I can bring this closer. How are we doing there? Good. Okay. So to do this, I use a mattress needle. I'm going to show you guys this mattress needle. Ooh, even better. Right in front of my shirt. This is just a curved needle. Makes it a lot easier to sew things when you're doing upholstery. These are super cheap. You can get them in bulk. You can get them from my website. But you're definitely going to need this kind of needle when you're sewing. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to push the top layer down, lift the bottom layer up. I'm going to start sewing it from this side over, and I'm going to try to go over what a blanket stitch is. If you're a sewer, then you probably know. I try to only get like 2 arms lengths of thread at a time because it can get tangled up easily. But I do double up my thread in my needle to make it stronger. Let me zoom out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I double up my thread like so. And if you, so this is our first test tutorial Tuesday run across all platforms. So if you guys have advice, like camera angles, all that stuff in the comments section, please leave it. I'll read it. I'll use it. That's what we want. We're going to use this data to improve every single time. So I am actually threading both ends of the needle into the needle at the same time. Well, that's what I'm trying to do anyway. And then pulling it out till I have a loop at the end, and then tucking that loop over top of the needle so it creates like a little slip knot at the bottom. This is going to allow me to undo this if I miss a stitch and I need to go back without having to snip the thread. So now I can just, like if this is stuck in my project and I'm like, oh shit, I made the wrong stitch, I can just pull this loop back up over my thread and undo it, and I don't have to cut my thread to rescue my project and like redo everything over. I just discovered this myself this past year, which is wild because I've been doing this for a really long time. So that's a fun tip for you. So I'm going to start here on the outside corner edge of this foam. I'm pulling this down. I want it to be nice and taut. Like I always tell my students, taut like a trampoline on top, and then pull this up here. Starting here, the first thing I'm going to do is tie a knot. So I'm putting my needle through till I get to the end, grabbing that tail and tying a knot. Now the string is red, so you can see a little better. I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but Thomas, you can probably zoom on that now. Yep. Good, good, good. That's great. That's perfect. Okay, so now I'm just tying a knot with the tail, and then I leave the tail. I just tuck it like inside there. So I'm going to start with the blanket stitch, which is I'm going to advance about an inch over, and it's arbitrary. This doesn't really need to look pretty. Everything's going on the inside, but you can get really good at this. I'm just going through the top, back out the other one, but I'm positioning it so that when it comes through that loop. So when I pull tight, that loop creates a straight line across, and this loop comes up through connecting both sides. As I work my way down, I'm just making sure I'm pulling nice and taut as I go through, pulling the needle through, flipping it through the loop, and coming back in that direction. So I do my stitches about every inch, but it's, you could do every half inch, you could do every 2 inches. This is just to hold these two layers together. If you work hard enough on it, you can make it look very pretty. If you're watching from Instagram, you get a much closer look at what this looks like. So through the seam, back out.
About the needle thing, the one you can do in case you miss a stitch.
Oh, I can do that again. Yeah. So I see someone say, okay, can we zoom in on her hands? If you join through Instagram, it is zoomed in on my hands. But it does look like someone said it's hard to see with the lighting because it looks like the exposure is kind of high.
Yeah.
We can't change exposure mid.
Let me see. I might be able to pause with some things.
We're going to try and change the exposure because you can see it's like real hot, like here.
Yeah. I turned down the turn it. Oh. It's doing auto exposure.
That's perfect. Oh yeah, turn that off. Yeah, this is perfect. Nope,
Okay.
That's too much. One more up. That looks way better. Yeah?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for the feedback. Can you Virginia's talking to you, Thomas. Flip over on Facebook or the left-hand comment section.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so we did this, and I see someone ask, can you show the needle thing again, please? The one you can undo in case you miss a stitch. Yeah, look, I undid it on accident while we were talking. I'm just going to rethread it, which is now like the string, because it's doubled up, the end of it is like already tied on here. But now I have to thread the needle through the loop. So the loop goes through the needle eyelet. I don't know if you can see here on Instagram. And then that loop goes over top of the needle. Let me hold it down here, maybe in front of the white you can see better. The loop goes over top of the needle and then we'll secure to the needle that way. So now we're just going to go back through. When we, go to load all of these videos up, the close-ups will be with it. So we're trying to perfect a process of recording and editing in production so that I don't have to spend any time doing this later on afterwards. So I'm just going to make my way across the front, tie it off, and then we're going to work on the sides. So we'll go through, wrap the loop around the needle, pull again. If you pull too tight, it's going to bunch everything up. You don't want it to be bunched up. You want it to look nice and smooth under your cushion. We got any other questions I can answer, Thomas? Thanks. If you hold this just right, like as you're sewing, I notice, and this is not something I do consciously, I just do it unconsciously. I'm pulling this string tight, which holds it over to the left. So when I go down through both layers, when it comes up, it's kind of automatically coming up through that loop. So it makes it just a little bit faster if I'm doing it without thinking about it, which is what I tend to do. So we're almost to the end of this bit. And when I get to the end, I tie it off. If I have a long enough piece of string, I might go all the way up the side. I don't have a long enough piece of string, and I don't like starting and stopping in the middle of something. So I'm just going to tie this off by wrapping it through that last loop a handful of times so that it ties a knot. And then I can just trim it back. I'm going to leave that long though, because I'm going to tie my next bit of thread right to that end string to keep the party moving. My hands don't work so great, so I'm going to remove that. All right, time for a new piece of string. Again, I do like about 2 arms width so that it doesn't get too long for me to manage. Thomas, you can go ahead and zoom out.
How far? Big, little?
Yeah, I think all the way is fine. You can see me in the frame. Perfect. Now Cross is in the frame. Perfect. He's taken, ladies. That one belongs to me. Okay, so I've got my string doubled over, the 2 ends in my hand on this side. And I'm just gonna feed those through the eye of the needle. Oh geez. And then when I get down here to the loop, I'm just gonna bring my needle through that loop, which is gonna tie it off right here at the end. So now from this side, we can start working on tying it up again. Now when you get to the end here, a bit of this has to fold this way, like you're wrapping a present. I trim up here at the top corner of the back of the cushion and at the bottom corner of the back of the cushion so that this stuff can go inside. Now here I've got 1 layer of batting and 2 layers of batting from where this side overlaps, and then I'll have 3 and 4, and that's just too much batting. So I'm gonna trim the one that's underneath this one all the way back. This one I'm going to let come forward, but I don't need the whole thing. I just need it to fold over. And then this top one can fold down and the bottom one can fold up so that I keep that seam consistent at the top of my cushion. So here I'm going back through actually where I started here, where I ended my last stitch. And I'm going to tie my knot through there as well as through the corner of the new material that I'm like putting in, threading it down till I get to the tail, and then I'm just going to tie that tail together just like I did the first time. And then we're going to work our way from the side of the cushion all the way to the front, or like the back to the front along the side. I have carpal tunnel, so I really struggle with these like pincher grip movements. I'm going to do a double knot so it doesn't come loose. I'm also using 200-pound nylon wax bonded thread. This thread will cut through your hands before it breaks. So I don't suggest trying to break it with your hands because that's dangerous. When I come up around here to the T part, I'm going to have to make a relief cut so that it can go around both sides. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now at a 45-degree angle going to the armpit of that T. So that's what that looks like. I'm going to do that on both sides, which will leave like a tiny little bare hole right there in between the T, but that's okay. That area doesn't need to be completely covered because it goes up against the chair and you're not going to be able to tell after everything is put on it. So that gives me this flap to work with, and then we'll get back to that flap when we're done, when we get there. So again, I'm just stitching through, wrapping it, like bringing it through the thread loop. So it's going to create like a nice straight line and a loop as you go through. When you use this on like jackets and blankets and stuff, it looks really cool. For this point, it's just a utility. It's just to keep the batting on it so I don't have to glue it to it. And the way that I'm like positioning my hands allows me to automatically come through that loop when I sew. So I just like move this over because I'm holding this tight the whole time, going through this, woof, and then it brings it automatically up through that loop. And when you get good at this, you get really fast at it. So I want to kind of zip through the next couple sides. We got any questions, Thomas?
Sound much better
On Facebook? Interesting, because it's with the same microphone. I really am loving this feedback, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll have to do some research as to why that could be. Okay, so now I'm coming to this armpit area, and this is where this has to like come up this side. So you can see it leaves a little bit of a gap right there in the armpit. That's okay. It's not a big deal. It's the armpit. I'm just going to skip my stitch through here and over to this side so that I can start working on that armpit area. And I forgot to loop it. So through there, through the loop, and pull. Now we're coming up to the T section where we have to fold this down like a present. I need to make a couple more snips. One here, one at the bottom, so that these will go in and these can wrap around. This has to also go in. So now we're going to sew these together. Hi. We are live, so if you walk through here, you're walking right through my live. That's okay. I got you set up over there, Cheryl. So I'm going to finish this T. What's wrong?
when the phone vibrates, if it gets any notification or anything, you can hear it on the live.
Oh, interesting. So we can turn those off. Next time, guys. We're already going. We're doing what we can. Tell us all of our mistakes so that we can do. Okay, I'm going to tie this off so that it stays put. Trim. My God, Texas ice storm. That sounds terrible. So the foam that I'm using is a 4-inch medium firm foam. All of our foams are high density foams, but this is medium firmness. So it's kind of squish. It's still actually medium firmness is as firm as I would ever recommend. Unless someone says like super firm and then they felt the medium firmness and we're like, that's not firm enough. Then you give them firm. But we have a default. We use medium firmness for seats, soft foamness for seat backs, and we don't really use firm foam unless like they've insisted on it and we've tested it for them and then they decided they need it really foam. Restaurants like really firm foam because it makes the seats less comfortable and people don't sit there as long. At least one restaurant that I know of. So now we're going to sew up this side. This time we're going to start at the T and we're going to work our way down. Cross, can you hand me that thread? I can't reach it. I'm short. Thanks. Okay. Thomas, if you want to zoom in again, we can just change that camera. One more time. Big zoom, I think. Yeah. Good. Perfect. Excellent. I lost audio. Okay. How is it in Texas over there right now, Virginia? How cold is that? Bet you it's not too, because that's what it is here. Very cold. Can you still see everything on Instagram really good? Okay. Threading my needle again. For the third time. What time do we got?
It's
1:45. Great, perfect. We do noon to 1 on the cushion, and then we'll do 1 to 2 hand stitching the. So there's 2 different types of hand stitching strategies you guys are going to learn today. On the cushion, you're going to learn the blanket stitch. On the chair, you're going to learn the ladder stitch. So we're going to fold this end in, fold the top part down, fold the bottom part up. And we're going to start here on this end by tying a knot using the tail and then the string that I just pulled through. Some of these red little things are from the fabric of the cushion that you guys are seeing. You definitely want to get those out. It's important to use a nice strong thread so that it won't break over time. And that's what this is. Okay. So we're going to get our way around this T. I'm going to try and work fast so we can fit in the ladder stitch when we get to the chair. And then we can start working our way around the side. Again, I need to make a little slit so that this material can fold in on the side. I think I removed a little bit too much on this side, but we're going to make it work. Fold these bits in, bring the bottom bit up, and connect them all together using this thread. So I'm holding the side piece on this too because these are extra short. And I'm going a little bit down the length of the cushion to catch that bottom piece because it's a little shorter than the rest of the cushion. And I don't want it to get loosey-goosey and then get all tore up when it goes in. Okay, I caught them. And do one more down the side here. And then we can work on getting this side together. So this is going to go down here, down here. Here you can see a little bit more clearly that armpit that is still exposed. And that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything to be exposed. But I'm going to move right back over this direction. And this string is kind of like arching across it. That's going to tuck in with the cushion. I don't really like that it does that, but I don't have a lot of options right now. And just make sure, like, as you work your way over and across, that you are keeping these layers together and nice and taut. So I get 2 lessons out of this today. How to stuff a cushion and how to put an arm cap on your wingback chair. And then after this, guys, this is the last video I'm doing on this wingback chair. When we're finished with this wingback chair, we are going to give it away through a contest on my website that you can just enter to win. It'll be a random drawing, but you do have to pick up or pay to have it shipped if you win it. So keep that in mind. We will not be bringing it to you. You will have to figure out how to get it home. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think There's not enough of us out there sort of training people how to do this. So I like to teach. I went to school to teach elementary education, but still, same. It's the same. We're all elementary school kids. We're all here doing this for the first time. All right, so I'm just tying that off. Oh, we did the whole thing already. I thought I still had one side. Look at me go. Okay, this is the cushion. Zoom out, Thomas. Looky here. How many likes we got? Only 5.6 thousand likes on TikTok. Come on, you guys. We get like 40, 50, 100,000 likes. So if you're here and you're learning something, I want you to start tapping that screen as violently as possible, because that's going to shoot the likes up. That's going to send my content across all platforms, so that people can see what it is that I do, which is teach upholstery and furniture restoration. So I teach upholstery and furniture restoration from my design studio here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's 5,800 square feet, and we teach upholstery and furniture restoration, but we also sort of span the textiles gambit. So you can take quilting classes, sewing classes, learn how to fix your sewing machine. We got Cheryl here in the background. She's the member. Wave hi, Cheryl. So that at any given time, there's people here all the time, like working on their projects, and you'll catch some of Cheryl in the background here too. So now we have to test fit it one last time, which hopefully we don't have to take it out or put it back in again, and see the difference between the first time that we did this and to what it looks like now. So again, I want to get this sort of like, first I want this seam to be on the bottom of the cushion. This is a reversible cushion, so it really could go either way. I am putting the pattern part on the bottom, because I prefer all red in the front and the pattern on the bottom, but we ran out of red fabric, so we put the pattern on the bottom, so now it's a two-tone cushion. I'm going to feed the tea in first.
Barbara Koji says, greetings from sunny Miami. Thanks again for the great masterclass.
Hello, Barbara, and I wish I was in sunny Miami. I will be in sunny Lakeland, Florida, March... I feel like it's in the 20s. So I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia, and Lakeland, Florida, mid-March. Mid-March will be Atlanta, late March will be Lakeland, Florida. Those last 2 weeks, I'm doing upholstery classes in Atlanta and Lakeland with the Sewing and Quilt Expo. So I'm going on tour with the Sewing and Quilt Expo this year. First two stops, Atlanta and Lakeland, Florida. And I will be in Dallas to Virginia. I have another class coming to Dallas through the Sewing and Quilt Expo. That's not been made available to register for yet, but I will keep you posted. You see me here on the floor stuffing a cushion. Sometimes it's what's necessary. So I'm like squeezing my whole hand in here. I do have the cellophane trick. I just bought the stuff, but I forgot about it. We didn't prepare it for this class. So this is the manual stuffing process. It is much easier to stuff once the batting is on it than it is before batting, because foam is pretty grippy. But it's still a difficult task, especially now that it is like much bigger than it was before with all the batting in it. Now you'll notice as I'm putting this on, the cushion cover is going on super twisted. It looks like rather sloppy. There's a lot that we have to do to make this look nice before we zip it up. First, it's getting the cushion on straight so that all the lines look straight. So right now you see me sort of cramming the T's into place to fill out that shape. And then I want to just make sure I get full coverage of the cushion. And here everything's kind of twisted this way. So I've got to get that twist to go back in the other direction. And sometimes that is like putting my hand in and pushing the cushion down the other side. So that held the twist. And then the last thing, you can already see how much juicier it is. The last thing I do before I zip it up is I go through and I push down the seams to go down the face of it, like on both sides. So I'm going to reach my hand in, and where everything is sewn together here, I'm pushing that seam down the front all the way around. If you don't, then sometimes it can twist around, and that's what makes your welting, this piping here, look wavy and lumpy. So you want it all to be going in the same direction. Down the side is less visible than up the top. Up the top, you can sometimes see it, the seam of it right here. So we'll go back through this side, push down the seam. Yay! I cannot wait to meet you. Like, I'm super excited. I did that, so I got a booth to the Sewing Expo in Novi this past year in November. It was my first time going there as not like a person visiting the Sewing Expo. I was the only upholsterer there. It was like 90% quilters, but I knew it was going to be a hit because it's 90% quilters, and quilters also like furniture, I think. So it was really good. Hundreds of people gathered around and watched me upholster a chair live. Actually, the twin to this chair, which we did as a no-sew chair, so that you could see like how quickly to put it together. If you are joining me in any of these quilting shows, we are going to do a Zoom in advance of the show where we work together to strip our pieces so that you're more likely to finish. Okay, almost there. I can't breathe. I'm sort of like zhuzhing the fabric around now to make sure that it's like going on straight. I'm looking for straight lines in the front and the sides. No twisting. I want the welt to be in the same side on both sides, like right along the edge. Now that everything is in, I think I'm ready to zip it up, which is going to be a whole nother fun task. So I need to try not to get the batting all mucked up in the zipper. Sometimes people put like it's way more expensive to do it because you have to pay for more material. But sometimes people put like an inner lining cushion inside their cushion so that they don't have trouble with the batting getting caught in the zipper. We did not do that. We're doing just like a quick flip chair. So I'm just gonna push this together. Work my way to the other side and try and keep the batting out of the zipper. That's why you want to keep your floors clean, because you will be wrestling your cushions against them. Okay, so now we can see our cushion. I want to back up from it a little bit. Still looks crazy. There's still some lumpiness, but we can fix that as it goes on. I also like to beat it a little bit before I put it on there, so sorry. It's a necessary loud noise. Sort of like flattens everything out and spreads it out. And like beat it into corners that it hasn't made it into. Okay, so now let's go to the chair. Out of the way, Thomas. We good? Awesome. So now we can take it to the chair. See how it fits. Looking good. One of the things that I don't like that I'm trying to like improve on is a gap between the nose of the chair, which is this is edge roll, and this. But when you stuff both sides with cotton batting, they round out. So that'll give you a little bit of a gap here. Now there's still some areas that look a little twisty to me. So what I might do is go in with my regulator and start working the edges on that. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So down here in these areas where it's looking kind of lumpy, I'm going to flip this cushion over so we can work on this side first. So I like to put my regulator in behind the welt to just make sure that that seam is flipped all the way down. When your welt looks twisted, sometimes that's because your seam, some of it's up and some of it is down. Even after all the beating and squishing and flipping and everything else. That's definitely improving the look. Let's straighten that. right back up. So you can take this regulator down all sides. You can't do it. So I'm sticking it through the fabric, which is self-healing, or like right here in between the seam. If you have like vinyl or leather, you're not going to be able to do that. So, you know, choose wisely. You can't poke a hole in all fabrics. This is going to be okay if I do. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. You guys, I get a lot of questions about what I was doing with this tool in my Thunderbird chair video. This is what I was doing with it. And the regulator is like super great for adding welt, reaching places with a tiny little pokey tool. That looks much better. Now, before I take pictures and stuff, I make sure that all of these lines look nice and straight to the eye. But let's zoom out. Let's take a look. That's looking pretty good. So the next step today, what we're hoping to get accomplished today, is to finish putting the arm caps on this chair. We're going to hand sew those to it. The first thing I have to do is add a little bit of batting. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to get my scraps. You got my scraps? There they are. Got my scraps. I got my coffee. I need one of those too. Now, the first thing I want to do, staple this to the face. I don't need the whole thing. I'm going to like rip a little bit of it off. I'm going to staple it to the face first, and then we're going to trim it into place. I'm going to bring this whole setup a little closer to you guys. How's that? Yay! I love these tracking cameras. I love them so much. So I'm just going to attach this to the face by putting a few staples in the middle. I'm not going to go nuts on staples like I do everything else because I don't want it to affect the look of the actual batting. So I just need it to stick to the face. I'm going to put a staple here in the middle. I'm going to put a staple in the middle here, and I'm lifting it to make sure I'm not putting a staple where it doesn't go. And then I'm going to put a staple in the middle there. And now I can trim it to fit it, which I just want the batting to stop inside this welt. So I'm going to bring my scissors in here, and I'm just sort of like guiding my scissors on the inside edge of that welt. Just go a little snip at a time. You don't want to take too much off. Again, this puts a layer of air between the wood and the fabric that we're putting in here. If you don't add this step, you might see all of the work, like the layers of fabric happening on underneath there, and it could make your face look rough and flat. There are a ton of ways to put a cap on your chair. The way we're doing today is hand stitching it with a ladder stitch, but you can, sometimes you'll take these apart and you'll see like a piece of wood or cardboard wrapped in batting and fabric and then attached to it with a brad nail. Sometimes you can use, if it's big enough, you can use ply grip around the edges of the welt and just tuck your fabric into ply grip. But we are just using like a good old-fashioned hand stitch because I got really good at them this year, and to me it looks way cleaner. And when I factor in the setup and tear down all that stuff, it's actually faster and much calmer for me to attach this by hand stitching it. So I've already cut fabric for both of these arms. For this next step, you're going to need your fabric, and you're going to need pins to pin it into place, and your scissors to cut it to size. So I've got to decide, let's put the cushion on, so I put this print on in the right way. We decided, just like the eyeball chair, to sort of strategically place, like pattern place this. I just want to make sure I'm putting the pattern on in the right direction. That looks right. So now we can take that off. And now I get to decide sort of how I want that placed. And I think if we just align it so that it is just kind of a line that goes down the center, I think we'll be in good shape. before I cut anything, I want to pin it into place so that it doesn't move on me. And it's also imperative that you do both sides exactly the same. So I'm putting a pin in the middle here, and where I'm pinning it is actually like behind the welt into the chair underneath it. So my next pin, I have one at the top. My next pin is going to be on the center here, and here I can see my pattern is really close to that welt, kind of far away from that welt, and I want it to be a little more centered. So I'm going to put a pin in through here. And on this side, that's going to lock in that curve for me so that when I pull down this way, it doesn't pull away from the curve. And next, I need to go down to the bottom, and I kind of want this part of the print centered in that bottom scroll. So I'm going to pin it on the sides down there. And this is nice and taut because that's how it's going to be attached. And then one more for the bottom. Now this is way too much material to like fold under and go underneath. So we're going to trim it off. I think I need to sort of outline the shape more. So I'm going to put a couple more pins so that I can see the shape of it better before I start cutting. But we need to take off a lot of this material so that it doesn't get lumpy up underneath it. If you're watching from Instagram, you get a real close-up of my hands. Otherwise, you're just like watching from there. Maybe I should. At the back of my head. Is that kind of easy to see? So if you need a close-up, well, you can really minusculely see it right here. But if you need a close-up, log on to Instagram, get over there, and view it from the close-up bit. If you're here and you're learning something, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and I will answer them. But all I ask is that you tap the screen as violently as possible. Show me that you like it so it pushes my content across all the platforms. Someone says, wait, you upholstered a car, a Thunderbird? No. I upholstered a Flex Steel Thunderbird chair. That was just like the name of it. And it kind of like resembles a Thunderbird car. It's like very angled, very geometric, which is cool. I did a sofa and a chair. It was part of a living room set. So I'm just going to go cut around the outside of these pins because these pins are sort of marking the boundaries of the outside of the welt, and it's going to give me enough material, even if I go outside of them, to tuck up underneath, like roll underneath when I go to hand sew it. So I'm just taking my scissors. It doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of this is going to get hidden in a fold, but it needs to be pretty close to the shape that you are making the cap in so that it's not too much material being folded up underneath. We're just going to cut that all the way around. Trimming back the excess so that the rest of this can like get tucked up underneath. Now, because everything is rounded, you also need to make little relief cuts. So about every inch or so, I'm going around and making a little snip up to the welt so that it can turn in easier. I think that's good. And now I can, like with a pin in place, now I can start going through and folding it in up to the welt edge and then pinning it in the other direction. You don't need a ton of pins for this, but you do want it to hold still while you sew because you don't want to be sewing on this side, robbing from material on the other side. So the pins are just to hold it in place as I go. I'm going to take those out as I move around. It also doesn't have to be like super perfect at this stage. Like wherever you pull is going to pull a little bit further away. You'll be able to sort of unroll this fold into place as you sew. You'll see what I mean when we get to that point. work my way down. And as I'm working my way down, like it's getting a little looser, so I need to be tightening it as I go. And then I might need to make adjustments after that's all said and done, because then it might be placed in a different spot than it was when I started. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to remove material. I just folded a ton of that in there that I don't need. Trim that back so it's not so bulky. And we're going to be using the same needle we used to sew the cushions to sew this onto the face of the chair. So we're coming around. I think we have some extra material here we can get rid of. Still curling. Everything's staying in good shape. Right now, I'm experiencing this material buckling up here. I have to remember to keep it stretched out when I'm folding and pinning so that it doesn't like move around on me and I don't get any wrinkles or buckles on the top. We need a nice, flat, consistent surface. Pin this over here. And now we're starting to come in on these edges. You might find that you need relief cuts in different areas. That's what I'm experiencing. So that you don't get those wrinkles. Oh, this phone is straight up in the way. Sorry, guys. Remove that. Make sure Instagram can still see. Maybe Instagram needs to be over here. Hi there. Krause, can you help? Okay. Sorry for covering all that up, guys. Come back around. Thomas, can I tell like where the comments are coming from?
Yeah, so there's icons either on the side of the name. So, for instance,
Oh, I see.
and then I assume that if it's on this screen, obviously it's TikTok, and if it's over here,
Great close up on Instagram for arm placement. Thanks, guys. Thanks for streaming from multiple platforms at the same time. That is really going to do my business some good. That's really cool, Thomas. So Thomas is the one who helped me set this up. Get in behind me over here.
Oh,
Like everything's pointing over here. This is
Hi,
Thomas.
hello.
Thomas Tusano. He's so we have like private studios here at the studio that anybody can rent and work out of. Thomas works out of one of those studios. He's a woodworker. We collaborate on a lot of projects, which is why it's so convenient for him to be here. And right now, he's helped me set up this whole live stream because he has his own streaming channel, Tusano Gaming. But you also do stream about woodwork too?
So, well, here's the really interesting thing, and this gives me an opportunity to kind of
Plug
talk to
away.
the video work's been doing for me. The other reason I'm here is the enterprise internet's coming today, and that's going to mean that I'm going to move my streaming rig and desk and setup all in here, and I'll be able to actually stream from there. So even when I'm gaming, I can actually switch camera views to like check on my laser or check on my CNCs or whatever else. And that fact, as well as doing like maker streams, and that fact will broaden my reach by allowing me to join the creator clubs. And so I'll be able to join the maker club, which is really, really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you're into games and you're into woodworking, go follow Thomas. Tusano Gaming or Tusano Trading Company are both of his channels.
Yes, either of the two. The idea is to show people that you can bring things out of pop culture by making things from games and movies or inspired by games and movies.
Nice. I love that. And he was very helpful in getting this whole bit set up and helping me buy the right doodads and thingamajigs.
I love doing 3 things in life: being a big scary or having scary dog privilege and using it to people's advantage. Making things,
Scary dog privilege.
and what was the last one? And also being entertaining. So
Yeah.
that's why I stream.
So it's pretty good. You can still see, you know, everything is a little bit rougher, like when it gets to the edges, but I can pull everything in with my needle and thread. I just want to get back up and kind of look at where the placement is. I'm not super stoked about it. This area will pull out a little bit more. Okay, so this area looked a little unbalanced to me, but it looks like some of this is going to pull out some so that I get more of that pattern exposed at the side. I think I'm okay with it. For what it is that we're doing here, I think it's good. So now I need to get my needle. And when you do this, you're going to want to use, you know, a matching thread. I'm using this red because it's the same color as my fabric. But if you do this properly, it won't matter what color your thread is because you won't be able to see it. So that's what I'll work on showing you right now. Let me get some string. Again, like 2 arms length. It's probably an overkill for what we're doing, but I don't want to run out in the middle of it. I do not like tying string onto old string or like starting halfway through. So I want to make sure I have enough string to do the whole job. So just like we did before, you guys will get a little bit closer detail of this. I'm threading the 2 open ends of the thread that I folded in half into the needle, pulling that through till I get almost to the end, and then taking this loop and flipping it over the needle so it ties in a knot like that. Now, if I'm sewing and I fuck up and I need to back up and go fix it, instead of cutting the thread, I can just take that loop out of the needle, flip it back over the needle, and unthread it. And then to get, you know, fix the stitch, undo what I did without cutting the thread, bring that little loop back through, and thread the needle again. And then this will knot it just like that. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and we're going to work our way all the way around doing a ladder stitch. The first thing we need to do is like secure a knot. The way I always do it is I run my curved needle up through the fold on the one side so it comes out that edge. Now on this chair, because we have a welt here, we're actually going through the welt to get to the other side. So I'm going through the welt here, but not through the fabric like on the other side of it. We're essentially hand stitching this cap to the welt, and then back down the underside of it. I haven't tied any knots yet. Everybody relax. Getting under that welt, and then real close to where that like welt is, I want to come back down through. I'm coming through the welt, and I'm coming out here down where the needle went in to begin with. That's the goal anyway. That's not what's happening. But I need it to come right, I need to come out right next to that thread, so that the first like real stitch that I make, well, that's the first real stitch that I made, that's going to hold that together. This is quite a bit of a distance apart too, but since it's where we're starting, it doesn't really matter because we can come back down here. Now that I've got it next to each other, I can tie this in a knot, and then I can hide the excess string up underneath that arm cap. You guys can watch me struggle to use my pincher grip. Tie it tight so that it brings those 2 pieces of fabric all the way together. And I do a double knot so it doesn't come undone. I'm going to trim most of this off, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail so that it'll stay tucked in. Oh geez, I got tied around my scissors. So that it stays tucked in underneath that arm cap. So I'm just using my scissors. You can also use a regulator to tuck that string back. And now we have a good start. So now I'm going to go back in through. First, let me explain ladder stitch to you. So ladder stitch starts at the top and then it goes over and then down and then over and then down and then over and then down and then over and then down. That is essentially the stitch that we're doing. It's not going to look that way when I do this because you're looking at it from a different view. But that's essentially what it is that we're trying to do. So I'm going to take this pin out here because I'm currently working through this side. I'm going to go back in this fold down about a 1/2 inch. That's my over, down. Pull it out this way and then directly across from it, right next to it in the welt, I'm going to come back to the other side of the welt. Now what that's going to do is it's going to take this stitch and make it as small as possible, but it's actually, instead of the stitch being like, so it goes over, down, over, instead of it being over like this, when you pull it tight, the stitch actually stands up. And so you can't see the stitch itself. And if you do it right, you'll never see it. So now I went over, down, I'm into here. So now I need to go over underneath underneath the welt, which is going to hide that little stitch. And I like to come through the welt first before I go into the fold, just to make sure that I have everything lined up. If I don't go straight across into the fold and I come down a little bit, you're going to see that stitch. You need it to be straight across so that it'll do the up and down thing and not the side to side thing. So I'm over and now I'm going back in directly across. It helps to hold your thread, like stretch it directly across so you know where to put it. Going into the fold and coming back down, advancing about like a 1/2 inch down that fold and coming back through. So that's my over and down on that side. Move your pins as you go or you're going to poke yourself every single time. So you're going to see this stitch, pull that together right into that ditch of the welt. So now I went over, down, and now I need to go back over through the welt, back this way, and you can watch that pull that together just like that. And now I need to go over or like down the welt, back through to this other side. So that's my over, down, and now I need to come back into this little fold, go over, down. See how that pulls that right in? It makes it look nice and neat. So it doesn't really matter if you're a little bit off because the goal is to get this tightened up anyways. So if we're just like a little bit of ways away from there, by the time we work our way around, it's going to stretch this evenly across and tighten everything up. So I went over, down, and now I'm going through, over, pull that. That's going to pull that tight. And now I need to go down underneath the welt. I'm coming back through the other side. And then we need to go over to the fold and then down. Perfect. That's going to pull everything together. Now, if you see gaps, there's a couple things you can do. One, my pin is holding everything in place. You can try and tuck everything in, but it looks like this, like I could have really used a stitch right here. This is one of those instances that most people would snip it, start all over again, but I'm not about that life. So I'm going to take that loop that I used to thread my needle, take that off, and I'm going to undo this stitch so that even from the other side of the welt, so that I can catch that little piece that wasn't quite making it to the welt. I don't want a gap there. So that tells me that my stitches were just a little too far apart. Now I can go back through, flip that loop over my needle, and then go back in and catch that little area a little bit better. So through, into the fold, down. Now that pulls that in, and I can use my needle or regulator to kind of poke the little stringies down. So now I need to go over. Great, this is looking great. And then down. And I want to make sure I'm catching the next little bit that has a gap away from the welt. And now I'm going over into the fold, take this little pin out. and then pull it down through here, and that will bring it tight to the well. How's everybody doing? Everybody still loving life? Let's take a look at the comments section and see what we got. If you're here and you're learning something, all I ask is that you tap on the screen so that you can send me all the likes. It pushes my content out. If you've never done this before, I teach classes here out of my studio. They're hybrid, both in person and online. I have 4-hour classes. You can also do a class by the hour. When you take a class online, it's through Zoom, so it's live with me in person. It's not a pre-recorded tutorial. And I will walk you through your personal project every step of the way. So if you've ever done this and you just like needed some hands-on support while you work, that's the perfect opportunity to do that. I also offer in-person classes, which are either an hour, 4 hours long, however long you want to hang out here in the studio. And I do weekend retreats where you can stay the weekend here with me, get a full weekend full of classes, most likely to finish your project that way. It includes your materials, it includes your meals. I have 2 versions. I have a light version and an all-inclusive version. The all-inclusive version does include your stay as well. We stay at a fancy a fancy Airbnb here in Ann Arbor. The one we have for February is got a sauna and a hot tub, so I'm gonna start seeking out Airbnbs that have these features because it's a lot of hard work. And coming home to a sauna after this or a hot tub is going to be within everybody's best interest. So that's what I'm going to start seeking out from now on. My February retreat is sold out. My May retreat is sold out. I have my light retreats now. They don't include your stay, but they do include your meals and materials, and you can bring a friend free. I still have some of those spots open. I have 3 of those classes throughout spring and summer that you can sign up for. And then if you can't catch me there, I am going on tour with the Sewing Expo this year. So I will be, my first 2 stops are Atlanta and Lakeland, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Lakeland, Florida in March, mid-March for Atlanta, late March for Florida. And I'll be teaching a 1-day class there, but I have a booth the whole weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where I will be teaching 3 students out of my booth that day. So you can stop by the booth and you can get some lessons for free just by joining the Sewing Expo. Oh, you guys can't see shit over there on TikTok. All right, I need to move my body. Sorry about that. Let's get to the other side. That's one thing I'll need for you, Cross, is to keep your eye on the feeds to make sure people can see me. Because I think like people are joining through too, so they're looking at Instagram and not paying attention if they can see me here. Okay, so now we're working our way around here. Look how nice that looks. That's super, super jazzy. Okay, so we're down. We're gonna go back through this way. So today's our first test of streaming from all platforms. Outside of our testing, I've never streamed through YouTube before. I've never streamed through Twitch before. Do we get any comments from Twitch?
It would show up, not yet. Seribot, but that's an automated
Yeah.
begin your stream with a gag joke, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Great. Close up. Okay. Yeah, so I've never done any, I don't think there's anybody streaming upholstery from Twitch, but I'm going to be the first one in history.
I noticed that we only had 2 tags, which was like English and upholstery. And I'm like, we could probably put a bunch of other tags on there, like
weird stuff.
Yeah, like there's some ways to expand your reach. But I've been watching the metrics through stream, and you're not doing bad.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not
on Twitch. People watch.
So you know what I'm saying, like restreams aggregate metrics on Twitch. I don't know that we.
I don't know what you just said.
so restream at the bottom there has your view count and like that kind of stuff.
Where is that at?
So it's down here in this bar just below chat, and it'll show you how many people across platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now your viewership is leaning heavily TikTok, maybe a couple on YouTube, and maybe another couple on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So most people think that like success is having like, hundreds of viewers.
No.
The top percentile of streamers don't break 30 average viewers per stream. Like the good, like, what's the word for it? The middle bell curve.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like once you start getting into 100+ viewers, that's really where you can make a living from streaming alone.
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking to make a living from streaming. You're looking
No,
to
this
have
is just content.
accessibility. Yeah,
What I'm looking to do is solve two problems with one thing.
yeah,
Creating content that I can post on social media
bingo.
and going live at the same time.
Bingo. So you're not looking to have hundreds of thousands of people in your chat.
We
like
do
that.
get a lot on TikTok.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been doing because I have more followers on TikTok than anywhere else. So we haven't been, putting our efforts into everything else because we get, like when I go live on Facebook, I might get one or two people who come through.
Yeah.
But when I go on TikTok, I can get tens of thousands of people that come through. So we chose TikTok, but now I'm probably definitely going to reduce my dependence on TikTok
Oh, 100%.
for that kind of stuff and try and like work my way through other platforms.
Internet speeds drop, and I'm gonna drop my phone off the Wi-Fi.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We're getting faster internet today too, guys. So
Yeah.
if you're experiencing any lags, hopefully after today.
We are
We will not
constantly
have that.
troubleshooting.
Yep. Always. And if you guys know me, I don't give a shit about being candid or anything on live. You can see all of my previous live replays on YouTube, 5-hour long live replays, completely unedited, to kind of get a vibe for what it is we do around here.
By the way, I have a really great editor that'll do like a dozen shorts for like $100.
Oh, nice.
So I reached out to him and I told him like you might be looking for someone to take that.
I might be looking. Is he looking for more work?
I'm trying to get him more because I want to be a good client.
Yeah.
And as well as he's just a really great editor and he's a chameleon. He can adapt to a lot of different people's styles really quickly.
Oh, cool.
So
Does he have a full-time job or that's his full-time job?
he's a stay-at-home dad.
Nice.
Networking consulting every now and again.
Nice.
His name is KT. His real name's Joshua. He's fantastic. And yeah, I'm trying to get my weight up so I can give him more craft work and more stream footage and all the other stuff.
Oh, cool.
So it's not just a concern of like,
What's the turnover time like? How long does it take him to do that?
oh, he's got me a full 20-minute video in the space of a week.
Oh,
Like he's really good. He's got a lot of tricks in the trade though.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm sure like, if that's all he does, like,
Yeah. Oh, he's so solid. He, for funsies, Kim, he's taking someone else's feature-length movie that they did and recolor grading the entire thing.
wow.
Just, and it's not even a big name movie. It's not going to win him any clout or awards. It's just someone's
Practice.
fan project that he really likes. Yes.
So what is he into? Does he do content too?
He does speed running, which is studying the breakpoint of video games to where he can efficiently complete them in as short a time as possible.
Huh.
It's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And so he has his own stream too?
Yeah.
That's fun. What's his name?
Joshua, or his username.
Yeah.
KT
We're advertising this guy right now.
Yeah, KT Speedruns. I will evangelize for that man. He has had my back on multiple occasions, and he makes me funnier than I actually am, which is a problem.
I've seen some of your like edits that went out. I think that the quality is really good.
Yeah.
Have you changed the way that you film yourself to help him out?
I have been trying. A lot of it is actually changing my behavior on stream. He gets really annoyed when I don't finish reading chat messages and I just jump to the end and start my own response.
Yeah.
It takes away context.
Yeah, you didn't read. You gotta read it.
Yeah, you have to read the full thing.
My brain speed reads everything. I miss stuff all the time.
That's what I do. So I was talking about that on stream last night to someone. They made a comment, and then I was
Look at
like,
that.
"It ticks KT off."
That looks really good. All right, guys, I need more likes. We're only at 14.6 thousand likes. We need a lot more than that. I'm used to getting like 50 to 100, sometimes 200,000 likes. I know you guys got it in ya. I don't like beg for likes throughout my whole thing. It's mostly teaching. But if you hear me reminding you to push the like button, I want you to just start tapping it as violently as possible till your finger stops. If you're on TikTok, it actually, like up in the upper left-hand corner, it shows you like a little heart meter that will throw a party for you when you reach the end. So just keep tapping until it throws you a party.
If you're on other platforms, share it with friends.
Oh yeah. What do you do on YouTube to get
So
attention?
that's
Is it the same thing? Can you tap? I don't. I literally for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I have no idea
so YouTube.
what the forum is.
YouTube really cares about YouTube and Twitch both care about engagement. So commenting on things, sharing it with people, chat, like being active in chat is what Twitch really likes. That's how. If you have like 3 viewers in chat and all of them are like typing away and engaging with one another, you will start moving up in the rankings and people will start coming in.
Oh.
So like that's one of the things you really want to see.
Make some friends in the comments, you guys.
Facebook makes it really easy to send people like lives and content with the share button.
Oh yeah.
So that helps a lot. But
Share
YouTube,
with your friends.
Yeah.
So we do this. I go live so my goal is to go live every Tuesday from noon to 2 for Tutorial Tuesday. The end of this past year has gotten really kind of chaotic because we have been busier here at the studio than ever. But that's what like this setup is about. It's supposed to automate a lot of stuff for me so that I can free up some of my time and get that going. So the goal is to go live every Tuesday from noon to 2 and work on a project and teach you guys how to do it. This project that we're working on right now is a wingback chair. This is a 10-week project. In all transparency, I think we're on like week 12 or something of it. But it's a 10-week project. Every week we do. So you'll learn the project from start to every Tuesday, and this coming or next Tuesday we'll be starting what it is you want to learn. Put that in the comments section and I will try and incorporate that. I want it to be something cool and fun. Oh.
But you're getting comments on
Yeah, because we can't see
Yeah.
we can't see comments.
Sorry.
Has everyone or are you brand new? Oh, they are making comments. Good job. I really love that fabric. Me too. You want to read those for me, Thomas?
Yeah, let me read.
So go all the way back to the
you're
top.
not being ignored, I promise.
Sorry, guys. We forgot that you were not on screen with the rest of them. Instagram is unique in that you need a different stream key every time you need to go live. We have not figured out how to make that a fast thing before we started this test stream. So I apologize. But that's also why you have the big special camera angle.
So let's see. Let's start with the one that I noticed before I started talking. TSZB says, I love that you're hand stitching instead of other methods. Something about I've only done it with spray adhesive or only seen it done with spray adhesive.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it. We talked about that too.
Yeah.
You could do a hand stitching. You can upholster like a piece of wood or cardboard and nail that to the front. Sometimes I like to use, like if it's a big arm with a lot of space, I'll use ply grip because it's just like faster and easier. But yeah, I got really good at hand stitching this year. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I was terrible at hand stitching until this year.
So someone is asking the brand of scissors that you're using.
Oh, that's it's a generic brand.
Okay.
They're like $12 scissors off of Amazon that make really good upholstery scissors actually. But we just sharpen them over and over and over again. During the pandemic, a lot of companies tried to compete with Guggenheim by making like similar scissors, but they were only like $20 instead of like $60. And all those companies went out of business after. So Amazon has like piles and piles of these scissors and they all have different logos on them. So the brand doesn't matter. It's not a real brand anymore anyways.
Yeah. I saw real quick self plug Tully Shop or Tully Upholstery Shop, something like that. Asked what my Instagram is. It's Chusano Trading Co. All one word. They asked mine. And then
or Google Thomas Chusano. You'll find him.
You'll find me. Trust me. I'm also all over the LullCo page to a degree.
Yes.
So, Brand new. Okay, so Terry, that's one of your Atlanta class attendants.
Yay! Looking forward to seeing
Yay!
everyone in Atlanta this year. This is my first US tour. Last year for my birthday, we did go to Richmond, Virginia, and I taught a weekend class at Unsprung Upholstery, which was so fun. Jonathan Bennett is fucking incredible, hilarious, an extremely talented fashion designer and upholsterer. He's a fashion designer first and then bought it himself an upholstery shop to save a local upholstery shop, which was very ambitious and awesome of him. Anyways, I learned a lot from him. It was my first experience working alongside a professional, but I did the sewing expo this year and here near my town in Novi, Michigan. And I did a couple presentations, but I just did live upholstery the whole weekend and it was a hit. And so the expo asked if I'd be interested in teaching classes at the rest of their shows. And I said, for sure, because that's like perfect opportunity to do a tour without having to like pay to find spots to do a whole tour. Plus they got all the tools I need, which is extremely convenient. Okay, so now I'm struggling to like get myself around this corner and keep everything tight here. This corner is what's giving me a hard time, and it's because the relief cut is in the wrong spot. So the relief cut needs to be a little bit more here. And then this is probably a little bulky. Be careful not to cut your thread. So now this bit can go up this way where it needs to go. Oh, that's my string. And this bit can go sideways where it needs to go. Perfect. So we'll come back in around here. What do we got, Thomas? Anything?
All the way from NB Canada, Bonnie says hello.
Hi, Bonnie.
Also, I have a
Welcome.
small upholstery shop in Canada. I love how much you love your craft. Oh.
Thank you. That's so nice.
And then,
Did someone just come in the door, Thomas? Can you
yep.
check on them? So you tuck that in. Is that what for them? Okay. Oh, yay.
I'm on Insta, not many here, but I've been following taking Kim's classes for a couple years. So helpful. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda. I know, Linda. Linda, I think is it the Linda from my subscription classes?
Linda.
Yes.
All right.
Welcome everybody joining from everywhere. I'm so surprised I'm not bleeding yet. That's a kind of a miracle. No, I'm not bleeding because I didn't cut myself. But I usually do poke myself pretty good doing it. No. No, I made it. We're almost there. Like when we get down here to these pins, that's where we started. So this, okay, this is another example. So here I came a little bit too far out with my string so I can see my stitch. You can't really see it because it's like the same color as the fabric and it looks like it's part of the pattern, but I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to come back through here, loosen up this loop that I made, which is getting pretty dicey right now because it's had so much work. And I need to bring that loop back up over the needle so that I can unthread it, then go back in there, take that stitch out. I'm gonna go 2 stitches back because that was in the wrong spot, and go back and try and do that a little bit better this time. So I can come back to the loop part, thread that through my needle, pull it just like that. Okay, so that looks a little better. I think what I was trying to do was get that fold to tuck in a little bit tighter, so I went a little long on that. That's okay, it's all right. And then also make sure you're going like directly across. What time we got, Thomas?
We have 19:02.
Oh, cool, perfect timing. We got through both tasks today, which was stuffing the cushion and hand stitching the arm on. And by the time we're done with this, will be the end of the live. And we did it! Successful 2-hour live. This is not as like hard as I thought it was going to be. Of course, we didn't push any of the bells and whistles that we set up, but we'll get there. We need training. We need production training, I think.
I mean, you're doing pretty well. You've got the talking part.
What I want to do is break down these like steps so that there's a little bit of a pause between each one.
Yeah.
Recognizable, so I can go back through and like edit it quickly. But I want to do the like clips thing too. We didn't do any of that, but
Yeah, that's true. But
that's okay. That's all right. We got a lot done, and we did the whole thing that I said we were going to do, which very oftentimes we don't have the time to get through everything I said I was going to do, even though I keep making these promises every week.
I can't wait for the cables to come in, and when you can do multicam.
Well, that should be any minute now.
Yeah, because those cables are gonna be so.
Ooh, before we go, I'm gonna go over tonight is Stitch and Bitch night. What that means is every other Tuesday I host an event called Stitch and Bitch, where anybody can come and use the studio for free, get hands-on support if they need it, hang out, bring their project. It doesn't have to be upholstery, it can be anything. I had people tearing apart computers once on one of my desks. So literally just come hang out. It's just a cool, fun place to hang out, work on a project. It's mostly bitching, not a lot of stitching, if I'm going to be completely honest. But it is a fun way to build community around the things that you love. Well, that I didn't mean to do, but it just happened to work out. So now we're tying this off, and that's just kind of like going back and forth a bunch of times first, so that that doesn't come undone. I don't need that to go through that fabric. I'm going to have it come through the bottom last, and then I'm going to tie it off at the bottom through the loops that we just made, going back and forth, and go around. Come back through the bottom, and I'm just like using the loops to tie a knot. You can see I tied myself just enough string to finish this job. We're not going to work on the second one today. I'm going to do that off camera. But we did, through the course of this 10-week series, which was really more like a 12-week series, we upholstered an entire wingback chair, and I showed you guys every single step except for putting on the dust cover. We don't have time for that today. Next project, maybe. Okay, I'm going to snip this, and I actually go back through here with a lighter, and I will like singe it, like melt it a little bit so that doesn't come undone. Sound good? All right. Maker's Upholstery says, that chair looks awesome. Thanks, Maker's Upholstery. Okay, I'm going to, so that I can see what's going on Instagram, I'm going to flip the camera around and turn my tripod around. And then go over any comments that we have during this time. In the last few minutes of this, we round everything out at 2. We might be done a couple minutes early, depending on if we answer all the questions. We're done at 2 though. But while I'm here explaining everything, if you guys could just tap on the screen as violently as possible, show me that you're enjoying the content so I can come back and keep making more, do this for a living, that would be awesome. I'm going to go through Instagram first since it was highly neglected throughout the whole thing. JM Upholstery, one other sent a request to be in your live video. Ooh, next time, guys. Sorry, I missed that.
I got a message on TikTok saying the chair looks awesome from Maker's Upholstery.
Thanks, Maker's Upholstery. This is a chair that we went through from start to finish live here on TikTok. Now that Thomas has helped me set everything up, we'll be going live every Tuesday from all platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Is that it?
I think so.
That sounds like all of them. That sounds like all of them.
Aspirations to do whatnot at some point, right?
Oh yeah, we're gonna do whatnot too. Okay, so I'm going back on Instagram to look at comments. So we answered that one. Sorry, I quit TikTok. Yeah, that's what we're all here for. Probably quitting TikTok very soon. Unfortunately, TikTok is my largest group of followers. I have 50,000 followers on TikTok. It's not as easy for me to just pull it away because it is one of my income sources. So we're trying to wean ourselves off of TikTok by starting going live from all of these platforms. So you guys can start following me here so that when I rip off that Band-Aid, you guys wouldn't have missed a thing. I really love that fabric. Thanks. This is great. And let me get the cushion on here so we can show everybody what this chair looks like complete. Move it back a little bit. So the whole thing's in. So cushion, top matches the sides, but it's reversible. So you can flip it over and do this. You guys just saw me hand stitch the arms, but I still have to go back hand stitch this arm. These folds in the front I have to hand stitch, and these folds right here I have to hand stitch. I put this chair together in a simple way that you wouldn't have to do any like weird measuring pattern stuff. We just put rectangles of fabric on here, wrapped and stapled it, and hand stitch in the places where everything connects on the chair. So this is a pretty easy like chair to do. I did the no-sew version of it for the Novi Quilting and Sewing Expo. Has everyone here upholstered before, or are you brand new? And then someone asked, how long would it normally take to do this chair? This chair we have done over the course of 12 weeks while I teach you 2 hours at a time. So 24 hours while I'm talking to you the entire time and slowing down to show you. But I could probably do a chair like this. I don't strip them anymore. But if this chair, and this chair was actually arrived to me as a bare frame anyways, so I could do this chair in about 8 to 10 hours if I needed to. No sew way faster, like probably 4 to 6 hours.
Facebook as well there on the right side screen.
I have a small upholstery shop in NB, Canada. Oh, we read that one.
Down at 145. Absolutely love
Oh,
watching you.
absolutely love watching you and listening to you explaining your steps. You're a wonderful teacher. That's such a nice thing to say. Thank you very much. I enjoy teaching. I actually went to college to be a teacher, and when I ran out of art classes, I changed my major, and I did that like 4 or 5 times, running out of art classes, and took as many art classes as I could. And I was planning on going into teaching art, but I ended up going into marketing and design and analytics and development, and I did that for 20 years. And so I bring all of those skills to the table here. I love this. So this happens every Tuesday? Yes, Tutorial Tuesday. Every Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be here walking you through another project. We just finished this one. This was 12 2-hour-long videos that you'll be able to catch up on YouTube. We're going to start posting them one at a time. So the first one from this series will go up on YouTube today. So you'll be able to watch the first live that we did was tools and material gathering. So we cover all the tools, all the materials you're going to need to do that. Those are also things that I carry on my website, so you can purchase them from me there. And then we show you how to strip it, we show you how to tie springs, we show you how to put on foam and batting, then fabric, and then finishing touches like we're doing here today. This was the last class of this. Next Tuesday, we start a new project. So if there's something that you want to learn, leave it in the comment section. I'll see it later, and I will try to incorporate that into my next project. I have a showroom full of furniture. If you're on Instagram, you're getting a full view. But I have pallet rack shelves full of furniture here. And I'll do maybe a slow down video, and you guys can tell me which one you want me to do next. We got a lot of cool stuff. Newbie here too, brand new, and I have a special chair that I plan to reupholster in Atlanta in March. Looking forward to see you guys in Atlanta and Lakeland, Florida this year. I'm going on tour with the Sewing and Quilt Expo. First 2 stops are in March, Atlanta, Georgia, mid-March, and then right after that, the very next following weekend is going to be Lakeland, Florida. I'll be there. I teach a class the day before. It's called, what is it called? More before the show. And so I'm teaching one class, a full day class, the Wednesday before the show, but that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'll have a 3-booth setup. It's going to be filled with discount upholstery fabric that starts at $5 a yard. Starts at 5, goes to 25 a yard, so everything very super cheap. So you'll be able to purchase fabric, but I have 3 students joining me at both events that will be working on their own projects, so you guys can come to the booth and learn about upholstery all day long. In November, I did the Sewing and Quilt Expo. I had 1 booth, and I just did live upholstery the whole time working on 1 project. Moving forward, for the rest of the shows, it'll be 3 projects, 3 booths. Late to the party. So when hand stitch this piece, do you have any background or cardboard underneath? Good question, because we did talk about the different ways that you could hand stitch this. or that hand stitch it or apply it. You see Thomas playing with it over there. So this was hand stitched, and there is Dacron underneath it. I've been calling Dacron poly this whole time. Poly batting is Dacron batting. It's the same thing. There's just two different names for it. There's no cardboard underneath, just the batting. I hand stitch it, but you can like wrap a piece of cardboard with batting and fabric and attach it to it that way. If your fabric is self-healing, you can use brad nails on the outside and just attach it. The brad nails go all the way through the fabric and into the cardboard, and then the fabric self-heals and you can't tell that you put a nail through it. I also sometimes, if the arm cap is big, like a big area, like on, you can see the couches like behind me over here, you can use ply grip around the edges, around the well, and attach your fabric that way. Will you put the cushion in the chair so we can see after you're done? So, yeah, I did that already. But so we'll flip it again. This is the top half of the cushion. We did run out of fabric for this project, so I had to use some of the pattern from the sides for the other side, but it actually looks great. On the outsides, we tried a new technique that I experimented with at the Sewing and Quilt Expo. Typically, on a wingback chair like this, you would have your top panel, your side panel, two different pieces, and your back panel, another piece. Sometimes you might be able to get this on in one piece if you're doing it right. But what we did was we have one piece on the back that wraps around and does the wings, and then one piece that goes here, and then everything is kind of wrapped around and tack stitched here. This area is going to have to be hand sewn. And the reason why I did that was experimental for me. It's only the second time I've ever tried it, was to get optimum pattern matching. So here the pattern just wraps uninterrupted all the way around, and then the side piece goes on top of that. Now, one of the things when you wrap around fabric, one, this wasn't long enough to reach the sides. So I had to split it up at some point, but it was long enough to reach here. So I decided to just put a panel on top of it here to match it. Now, if this was one piece that fit, when it comes around, because it's narrower at the bottom, it's gonna come up. So that pattern is gonna go up. What I was able to do and still get a pretty decent pattern match here was tilt this down so that the pattern stays going straight across. So it's a little bit, you know, more put together than it would be if everything went up. So now this pattern bit down here lines up great with the bottom, and it does the same thing on the other side. And awesomely enough is that like this side looks exactly like that side. Everything is symmetrical. Can you do my sectional? I can. We also offer services here at LullCo Design Studio. We have a handful of professionals that work on projects, but I also have a sponsor student program where you can pay for the cost of materials and classes. The student gets to take that class for free, and they get 50% of the profit on labor. So it's paid training for them. And I've got about 6 students who have been working with me the better part of a year. They produce extremely awesome professional looking work, but they do still require my hands-on support throughout the project. So I'm walking them through the whole thing. What kind of flooring do you have in your workroom? So this used to be a kitchen. This was a test kitchen or a meal prep kitchen. I can't remember exactly. It's just like an epoxy blue floor. And then they had put some like tape on it. I love the color. It actually goes with my whole vibe. Eventually, when we knock the wall out to the building next door, because we've grown so big, we need to add to our space, we're gonna re-epoxy the whole floor in the same color. I also like the tape on it, but we need to like put it in sections that make more sense. Right now, it's just kind of decorational. What kind of chairs are best to do in the workshop? So the workshops that we're doing for the Sewing and Quilt Expo are just one-day workshops, so it's a small chair workshop. That's like fabric on the seat, fabric on the back and the front, maybe a little bit of fabric in the back. It has to be stripped before you bring it. It even has to be approved by me before you bring it, but we're going to meet over Zoom to sort of go over everything before you get your hands too deep into it. But small chair workshop, something we can do in a day, because we're going to have pre-cut materials for you guys and you'll be able to just sort of piece everything together. That being said, everybody works at their own pace. So I don't like to tell people like how long it's going to take them to do it. When you take classes with me here in the studio, it's bring your own project, because you can bring your own project at any stage, at any time, and work on it for as long as you want. until you get it finished. You can come and go as you please. You can purchase a class and you can join either over Zoom or you can be here in the studio, or you can purchase a membership, which will give you unlimited classes for the month so you can take them as much as you need. $300 for unlimited classes. You're going to get a lot of training in that month if you can show up all the time. We offer these classes. We offer studio time 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Next time I see the people requesting to be in my live, if I can tell you're upholstery related, I'll probably bring you on because I've never done that before and I'm interested to see how it goes. Do you have denim fabric? Could I send pictures of a sectional for pricing? Yes, if you want us to do work for you, if you can email me pictures and measurements or message me pictures and measurements here, I'll be able to give you an accurate price on it. We do have some standardized pricing too, so if you go to LullCostudio.com and click on the get an estimate, you'll see some of our standardized pricing to give you an idea of the ballpark range that we're working with for like larger size pieces like that. I don't have any denim in stock, but we can order denim. And that's it from Instagram. I think we got everything from Facebook too. I'm going to go back through and look at TikTok and see what we got going on there. I think we got everything there too, guys. All right, we got 16.7 thousand likes on TikTok. I'm going to make you guys push that like button a little bit more. If you're still here and you're watching for the next like minute, if you could just like violently tap that like button as much as possible to start sending this out. That would be great. It's cool when you guys buy gifts and stuff. I think that's awesome, but I get fractions of pennies of that gift. When you tap the screen, you like it, it engages with my posts, it sends my stuff out onto the internet, and it helps people find me and learn what I do, which is teach upholstery and furniture restoration for a living. But my design studio is 5,800 square feet of studio space designed to like cater to textiles crafts. So I do upholstery and furniture restoration here, but we have quilting teachers here, we have needlepoint teachers here, we've got embroidery teachers here, we have puppet making teachers here, needle felting, apparel sewing. You can come learn how to fix your sewing machine here, learn how to work with your sewing machine, all different types of stuff. But I think it's 1:58. This is such great timing. So we're running in the last 2 minutes of this. My name is Kim. Why do you want to pull off TikTok? Because of the hands that it's in now of our government. So July 22nd is when TikTok was handed over to the United States government purchaser who did that. A lot of stuff changed. Things are very volatile in America right now, and I'm not trying to make myself a target on TikTok. I don't want to pull myself off of TikTok, so we're weaning our way off of TikTok, but I don't trust the platform anymore because I don't trust the government. So, and I can say that because I used to work for the government and I know kind of like the insides of it. So every Tuesday, Tutorial Tuesday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., I will be here and we'll be working on a new project. I haven't picked next week's project yet, so you guys can have a lot of input on that. I'll post some pictures and video of the furniture that I have left, and you guys can sort of vote on what you want to see at the next class. That's it for me today, you guys. This went really well. Don't you think so, Thomas? Come in here, Thomas. Everything today was made possible by Thomas Tusano of Tusano Gaming and Tusano Trading Company. He's my streamer expert. He's been streaming for quite a long time. He helped me buy all the right tools and doodads so that I could plug this into all my platforms so that we can move everything into YouTube and TikTok and whatnot and Instagram and Facebook and Twitch. I'm like the only upholsterer on Twitch right now. Remember that. Historically speaking, I'm the first upholsterer on Twitch. So I don't even know how to use it. This is all Thomas here. So thank you guys for joining today. Thanks for engaging. Thanks for asking all the questions. I will see you next Tuesday.